Hello, this is Maggie Wolken with my EDL 856 Module 1 presentation. There are 4 sections throughout my presentation. I will start by introducing myself and providing you with a bit of background information about myself. I will then move in to the discussion about different forms of communication. I will share best practices for when introducing yourself, and I will wrap up my presentation with some concluding statements. As stated earlier, I am Maggie Wolken. I moved to Chanute, Kansas whenever I was 15. I am the youngest of 6 children. I was the first person in my family to graduate from college. My husband Danny and I have been married for 21 years. We have 2 sons, Wyatt, who is 20 and is currently traveling the world as a welder. Landon is 18 and has just began his freshman year at Neosho County Community College and is currently the Panther mascot. My husband is the maintenance supervisor at Ash Grove Cement Company here in Chanute. After completing my elementary education degree through Pitt State University, I began teaching 3rd and 4th grade at Humboldt Elementary School. After a few years, I transferred to Chanute Elementary School and became a kindergarten teacher. Over the past 16 years, I have gained experience as the kindergarten team leader, participated on the BLT committee, the PDP, and calendar committee. I have recently been nominated for the 2023 Kansas Master Teacher Award. Early childhood is very close to my heart, so after a few years of teaching kindergarten, I completed my master's degree in early childhood special education from Emporia State University. I will complete my building leadership endorsement through Fort Hays State University in July of 2023. Let's discuss some forms of communication. What is communication? Being able to communicate effectively is one of the most important skills in life. It allows us to transfer information to produce a greater understanding. We are going to be discussing verbal, nonverbal, and visual written ways to communicate. Some of the ways that you can verbally communicate are spoken words, formal or informal. You can have face-to-face conversations, phone conversations. You can give oral presentations, such as speeches or lectures. You can have videos, or you can listen to music that contains words. Some of the nonverbal ways to communicate are body language, gestures, facial expressions, eye contact, or listening to music that does not contain words. Some of the visual and written ways to communicate are to use graphic organizers, posters, emails, text messages, social media, as long as these social media posts as long as it does not contain audio, it is considered a visual or written communication. Words and images should only be part of that social media post. So let's look at the 3 places that I tend to communicate the most. Communication throughout my classroom, throughout my school building, and throughout the leadership committees that I currently am part of. In my classroom, I will greet every student when they arrive in my classroom every morning. I will also call parents to let them know about things that are taking place in my classroom or within the school building. And I also conduct parent-teacher conferences twice a year. Some of the written forms of communication that you may see within my classroom are for students. I provide them with a morning message every morning when they arrive. As the year goes on, my students will learn to read that message, and they learn to love reading it. I do provide my parents with positive notes home. This is also known as the purple note in my classroom, as the kindergarten hallway is known as the purple hallway. Whenever I have something positive to share with my parents, I send a purple note home stating exactly what their child has done. Some digital things that I do throughout my classroom setting to communicate with parents outside of the school setting are weekly newsletters. This newsletter lets the parents know the activities that are going on within my classroom that week. It will let them know what we are going to be learning in math and reading and any science and social studies hands-on activities that we will be conducting that week. Class Dojo is something that K-5 uses throughout our building. Class Dojo allows me to reach my families as a whole. I am able to send one message that is the same to every single one of my parents, or I can send a personalized message to a single parent. At Chanute Elementary School, we provide morning announcements every morning. The school secretary, Miss Gloria, does an excellent job of announcing everything that is taking place throughout that school day, including all of the school birthdays. We as teachers also have to have a face-to-face meeting with one of the principals at least once every 2 weeks. A principal will come into our room and observe how the learning is going, and then we will need to set up a 10-minute meeting to discuss things that we are struggling with, or ways that we see need improvement, or things that we are doing really great at. We do not send too many letters home to parents. However, occasionally there is that lost library book that requires us to send home a letter letting them know to be on the lookout for that book, or we may send home letters to inform parents of upcoming IEP meetings. We also have written star cards. This is a postcard that allows us to write whenever we have caught a student doing a good deed. This is sent home at the end of each month. Our school has social media that is ran by our technology integration specialist. We have student and teacher of the month. This is known as the star student, or the teacher is also known as Student's First Award. We are able to digitally put that onto our social media and share the great success of those teachers and students. We currently have a school website that is also ran by our technology integration specialists. We are able to Zoom with parents whenever we have meetings that they may not be able to attend, and the school system also has the capability of sending out text messages that are able to send to the entire school staff or student population. Throughout the leadership committees that I am currently on, I have face-to-face weekly meetings that require me to meet with my grade level and meet with the leader of each grade level. I then have monthly meetings with the district and the building level for each grade K-12. We don't really have written, unless you're writing notes during some of those meetings. We normally take notes on our computers because we have a running agenda that allows us to write right on the agenda, and that way we can always go back to our notes from weeks before. Then we have calendar items. Anytime we are in a meeting and a calendar activity comes up, it is immediately put onto the calendar. And then we also have a team email. Tools that the district has purchases versus teacher purchase. I have not found that I have purchased that many things throughout my time at Chanute Elementary School. They are really good at providing us with things that we need, and if we ever need to explore different ways to communicate with parents, our technology integration specialist is always helpful for us. However, the district has provided us with a Google email account. We have classroom phones within every classroom or every room within the building. So you will also find phones within our conference rooms and in any type of room that you're in. We do have Campus Messenger. This allows the office to send an email to parents or staff. We have a social media account and a district website that is ran by our technology integration specialist, and by the district office. We still use Zoom and Canvas. PowerSchool is accessible for K-12. It does look a little different in K-5 as we are not putting grades in there as assignments are due. Those grades are normally just there at the end of the quarter. So parents do not have the same accessible viewing as the 6th through 12th. Our district office sends weekly letters to the staff and to the parents, and Class Dojo is used K-5. Let's talk about how introductions should be done with a purpose. In order to make a good introduction to colleagues, students, parents, or anyone else that may not know you, it is important to remember to smile, make eye contact, think before you speak, maybe even do a little bit of research before you speak, and listen closely how that other person is introducing themselves. Often personal introductions can set the tone of the meeting or how the school year will play out, so make sure it counts. Some helpful strategies to making an unforgettable introduction are: 1. Go beyond your title. 2. Think about problems only you can solve. 3. Ask friends and colleagues for input. 4. Flash back to your childhood. Or if you're a parent, flash back to things that have worked for you as a parent or not for you as a parent. Show a little bit of vulnerability. Gather some feedback. I feel at this time, one thing I could do is ask my kindergarten team for input and to gather feedback after each situation. Key to an unforgettable introduction is to tell your story. It is explained that this can be done by describing your why, not your what. In other words, don't just tell people what you do, tell them why you do it. Furthermore, you need to let people know what you believe in and what problems you intend to solve. In order to do this, we must be able to reflect upon ourselves and our stories and continue to think of ways we can use our own stories to spark their interest. Introductions as a building leader. If I was beginning the school year as a new building leader, I would meet with my building leadership team first. I would review the mission and vision statements along with the core value of the school. I would ask for their input from this small group of what other staffs would like to be seeing during my introduction. If I am making any changes to the building, I would review it with this team so that I could gather input prior to introducing changes to an entire staff. I would conduct an entire staff meeting prior to the school year starting. I could provide food so that I could walk the room as everyone is arriving. I would introduce myself while sharing my personal and professional story, complete a bonding activity with all staff included. I would then review the school and district values and be open for questions and discussion. I would then be sure to schedule grade level meetings. I would sit in on each grade level PLC to get to know each member of the team. What does district policy state about communication? We need to know what and how to communicate with all parties involved. It is important that we know that the information that we are sharing is relevant and appropriate and that it values the student's privacy. Most teachers prefer to discuss matters face-to-face. However, there are times that phone calls are appropriate, and it is important that we sometimes provide parents with a message through Class Dojo so that we can get them to become aware of any activities or situations in our classroom or our school building. USD 413 District Policy Handbook contains a section that discusses the public relations department for the district. USD 413's goal of the Public Relations Program is to develop better public understanding of the district's goals, objectives, accomplishments, and needs. It is also important that each staff member be aware of the Kansas Open Records Act. This assignment correlated nicely with the standard because it allowed me to think more deeply about the types of communication and how important they can be when it comes to engaging families, community members, and school personnel. Knowing how to effectively communicate through oral, written, and digital means is essential for building principles so that they can advocate for their students and the mission and vision of their school. This assignment is relevant to me and my current teaching practices because it helped me to think more critically about how I choose to communicate with others. I hadn't really thought much about what my preferred methods of communication are. I just do what feels right at the moment. Taking time to explore the resources and learn more about communication and specifically how to introduce myself will help me be a better teacher and administrator in the future. Community engagement is huge when it comes to education, so I am glad that I am already proactive about getting parents and the community involved. I hope that they see me as someone who is friendly and approachable. As I look to the future, I will use the content knowledge to provide my understanding of the importance of establishing open communication with my students, parents, and staff. I will be able to use some of the strategies from the resources in this presentation to introduce myself in the future, and I also plan to use some of the ideas to tweak what I am currently doing. My goal is to now take my knowledge and share it with my kindergarten team so that I can develop a plan to create an open communication plan for all kindergarten parents. This will help us to have open, productive conversations with colleagues, parents, and students. This assignment can be used as a reminder of how important solid introductions and positive first impressions can be in order to set the tone for relationships, regardless of whether it is personal or professional. Here are the resources I used for my presentation.